It's like I have this tyrant in my head that will not stop until I have everything I desire, until I'm a goat. My whole life I've been self-improving. I've been focused on growth. I've been evolving more and more. Like if y'all have ever seen those videos where it's like I live in my head more than reality, that's me. Even though I'm focused so much on self-improving and growth, I still don't allow myself to live the way I want to. Even though I've grown so much, it's like I still need more. And I think that's where spirituality came in for me, because spirituality kind of, some people make it as though spirituality is like a promise to peace, a promise to eternal peace. And they give all these practices, and you get all this knowledge about the universe, these universal laws. You get knowledge about how everything works, how the mind works, um, what may be beyond the mind, right? But at the end of the day, I think, at least for me, this knowledge becomes yet another mask. I said in a TikTok comment, and it got a little bit of likes. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm off and on the app. But I was saying knowledge is the greatest mask. Pursuit of knowledge is the greatest mask the ego will take on. And this is utterly true, in my opinion. Uh, because we search some. It's like, oh, the next meditation technique, the next and we think that we're like, oh, now like I'm actually pursuing something that matters. So this will actually give me peace once I know this, once I know how the universe works, once I know who I am, my source. This search for peace and the love for life and for our mind to stop is what drives us all every day. With no matter what you're pursuing in your life, what do you want out of it? You don't really want the thing, you want the feeling it'll give you. You want the feeling of freedom. You have everything you want. You're free. You're free to live the way you want now. So, and this goes for spirituality, like once I get enlightened, then I'll be at peace and I'll be able to live the way I want. I'll be able to live from love, etc. The problem also with that pursuit of getting things externally to make you happy is it'll never work, because the underlying habit is still there of needing this present moment now to be different. It doesn't matter what you have. The underlying mechanism of the mind, which was built for survival in the primitive age, is still there. So you can't rely on these mental things to give you peace and happiness. You just can't. Maybe it'll give you a temporary dopamine hit. You'll get a nice dopamine hit. But what happens when that dopamine wears off? And you back in the same place. Then you wanting the next thing to give you the next dopamine hit. So because we have these desired outcomes and we need these things for peace and happiness, through our conditioning, what we're told we are, what we're told the world is, we form a narrative I in our head that is thought. And this I narrates every moment. And sometimes you may not even be fully aware to this mind chatter, but it's just that white noise in your head where you're not fully here. Like you could be in the grocery store, but you're rehearsing how to do your presentation later today. So therefore you're living in an illusion, because that is in your mind. If you were to see, this was in The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, if you were to see a schizophrenic dude walking down the street and he was talking to himself all mad about some shit that happened a week ago, you would think he's insane. But we do this every moment of every day. We're always judging, we're always labeling in our head. But we don't ask, well, some ask, but we don't normally ask what is behind this thought, because we are clearly not the thoughts. Just as if we were in silence right now and I blew a blowhorn, that sound would come in and out of this It would come in and out of your awareness. You would hear it and then it would go away, but you're still there. Same with thought. You could think whatever you want, it's going to be there and then it's going to fade and you still remain, but the thought is gone. When your body feels fear, thought is just the word manifestation for that fear, and it's going to put the narrative I on it. And then you think it's you because of that. You think I'm in fear. You think I'm sad. So then, and isn't obviously your thoughts not very often will just say I'm in fear. You're going to have fearful thoughts because your body is in fear. Our thoughts will always be worried about the past or the future. I think there's a wonderful quote that's like, anxiety lives in the future, something else lives in the past. I don't know. But even one step further than that, I think both of them live in the past because even your anxieties about the future are your mind can only form thoughts based off its past. So then your thoughts about your future are a causation by the past. So that's why history repeats itself because people often use this example where, say, a girl says, I hate all men, they're all cheaters. The girl will then obviously, for her next boyfriend, find another dude who fits this exact criteria because it's what her perception is limiting her to. So it's literally what her subconscious mind will search for. Quite fascinating and true, scientifically, quantum physically. I could, I'm gonna, as I said, I'm gonna do more intellectual videos where I'm really getting some cross examinations and stats of that nature. Anyway, right here is where people usually go to positive thinking. And yeah, positive thinking, changing your subconscious mind. Everyone loves to do this in New Age spirituality. Man, if you a overthinker, bro, if you have been trying to self improve for a while and you're an overthinker, this shit's not gonna work, bro. I guarantee you. Because I could only speak from my experience again, but when you try to force positive thoughts and you're already in fight or flight, you're fighting even more. By wanting to change anything in the um, external world, you're already fighting what is in the external world. So obviously you won't be at peace because with fighting there's never peace. But now you're also fighting your internal world. Now you're saying, oh, there's also something wrong with me, with my thoughts. So now I have to change that as well. So now you're forcing yourself to think positively when you know you're lying to yourself. And you're also that same underlying habit of I need this present moment to be different is still there. That's that is the tyrant taking on the mask now of needing positive thoughts because if you have positive thoughts, you'll manifest what you want and you know, yeah. Pretty much. So, yeah. Now, this is where the internal shift that I've been trying to integrate and I'm still working on and getting better at every day. And this is what I truly view spiritual practice to be. I forget the word for spiritual practice and like, man, let me search it up. I got a computer right here. Sadhana. If you've read Be Here Now, this is where I learned this term. It's just like spiritual practice in daily life. It's that every single moment is a practice. Every single moment is a time to remember that we are the awareness. We're already at peace. We already are. And this is what it is it's not changing anything externally. It's not changing anything internally. Well, it's changing the way you relate to experience. Rather than believing every thought and thinking you are the thought, now the thought is a cloud. The thought is a tree, a thought is just as external to you as a tree. It's just as external to as a wild animal. So you don't have to grab on to every thought. You don't have to believe them. It don't matter what it's saying. You already know. You already know the answers beneath all of these thoughts. It's just your fight or flight system going off. You're walking down the street instead of thinking about tomorrow, instead of rehearsing a different present moment, be in this present moment. So when you're walking down the street, you could focus on your breath. Your breath is the link between the known and the unknown. Because the breath happens without us doing it. It just happens. So you're connecting with whatever drives us. Focus on your breath as you're walking. You could then put your attention to your feet on the floor, the wind hitting your face. And now, when the thought comes, instead of always being in this white noise that thought is and being asleep to the thoughts, now every thought will be, not every, because we have like 60,000 thoughts a day. So if you want to see them all, you got to meditate all day. But most of these thoughts, at least the louder ones, you gonna see like a tree. And some of them you'll be identified with. I'm so identified with thoughts. But the thing is, even that don't matter. You accept this present moment fully. Even if you have a thought that's hurting, that even if you have thoughts of fear. If you have thoughts of fear and you fully identify with them. If I were to think before this video, oh, I'm gonna fail at this video, and just fearful thoughts like, fuck, I don't know, should I say this? Should I say this? As I'd be recording right now, I'd be so, like, I don't know what to say. But instead, this morning, I actually really focused on just saying fully present, letting this video just come. And like right now as I'm talking, I actually wasn't doing this just now. I was a little asleep just now. As I was talking, but now I'm focusing on my mouth as I say these words. The reason why this is so hard at first is because it is actually very fearful. And I don't think people talk about that because it's literally your ego loosening control. It's you loosening your identification with what you think you are, which is thought. So obviously it's going to fight back. It's going to throw a lot of fears at you. Man, let them talk. Let all of them talk and come back to the present moment. And then obviously there's different practices to go into your unconscious. And this is what I was talking about before, how all these other spiritual practices, meditation, I'm gonna make a bunch of videos about Jung. He's my goat. And people be hating on him online. People be hating. So he got good, man. People think you're a pseudo intellect. If it's whatever. Yeah, I feel like that is all to uncover the unconscious, to make it conscious, because then it no longer controls you. All those different like meditation, you see a bunch of your unconscious can come up. And once the unconscious is made conscious, as Jung says, whatever is and made conscious remains unconscious. It will run you and you'll call it fate. I think I don't know if I got it word for word correctly. My fault. But yeah. And also an added layer to this is as you're in the present moment, if this is how you really become a man of love, a man of God, it doesn't matter your religious beliefs. Say someone gets me angry. My initial, say someone's screaming at me. After so much knowledge piled up of spirituality and philosophy and psychology, this is really the one, I feel like this is beneath all of it. And all of that different knowledge, all desire in general is to get this, which is to be. It's probably going to take me back into illusion because my fight or flight will go on and what Eckhart Tolle calls the pain body will be firing, which is your ego that is mad. So you're going to get these mad thoughts and now your interpretation is that. So now you're going to fight back with more hate, with more, that's how screaming battles occur. That's how arguments happen. When instead, if you use this presence practice, you feel the anger, now watch it. Watch the anger. Instead of acting from that anger, now you have the conscious awareness. This is what raising your consciousness is. This is why I said it's sadhana. And you can ask, one, what does this serve me? And how can I respond to this moment with the most love possible? You don't gotta go through all the options in your head. It's just pretty self-explanatory. And that goes for every single moment. Every time you feel something that's about to make you act in a negative manner, in a way that's out of alignment with awareness, that's out of alignment with oneness and love, man, come back to the present moment, take a breath, and act from that love. And the reason this is also so powerful, the I like telling this, I like saying this because everyone loves manifestation more than they love peace. including me, including me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not hating on nobody. Everyone loves manifestation. Uh, so this is the greatest manifestation there is, in my opinion, because if you were, you could think about it vibrationally. You could think about it. If I were to have everything I wanted, I would try to lead from love in everything I do because the world has given me so much love. I want to give love back. And the world is built on relationship. Along with this, you look at a car outside, there's millions of things making the car run. So it's the same way. It's the same way. And this is also giving love to everything you're doing in this present moment. Since you're acting from a place of wholeness and you're seeing the thoughts for what they are and you're not identifying with the thoughts, you are whole beneath the thoughts. You don't need nothing to change. So if you if you're in the if you haven't made this internal change, we're programmed to come from a place of lack. How we need something to change for us to be happy. We need the money, we need the girl. So we're in a state of lack and we're acting from a state of lack within these thoughts. But if these thoughts don't matter and you don't need to change anything, that's what you would be if you were whole, if you had everything you want. So now with everything you're doing, you're acting from a place of wholeness. Me making this video, if I'm making music from a place of lack, I need this to work for me to get the money and all this, I'm gonna make horrible music. But if I do it from love and I'm doing this because I love it, I want to give love to what I'm doing in this present moment, and I'm gonna be here fully without attachment to my desired outcome, it's gonna be a million times better. The master does his work, then leaves it. That's why it's unforgettable. Tao Te Ching. And along with this, another Tao Te Ching quote is, are you patient enough to let the mud settle? Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? That is exactly what I was just saying. When we have negative thoughts, we want to so often change. We want to act on these changes. But no, do you have the patience to wait till your mud, the negative thoughts, anything that's clouding your the right action, the moral action, the action from love, from truth, from wholeness, can you remain unmoving till it arises by itself? And what that's saying is, our natural being is one of peace and love, as I was saying, because we only live in the now. All these other thoughts are created within us. We already have everything. So obviously that inner intuition, that inner guide, it arises by itself. That's why I could also say, once I started really doing, literally, yeah, when I first started my spiritual practice and I read The Power of Now and I first started to try to integrate into my life, I first started to actually be present and use that, it's hard, man. It's really hard, bro. It's really hard, I'm gonna be honest. Once I started to do that, everything kind of came into alignment in my life. Like, uh, just everything I would want to do came to the forefront, bro. Like with music, my friend introduced it to me. Like, it's just everything I knew that I loved to do, but I suppressed within myself, including like making videos. I always wanted to make content, bro, but I suppressed it within myself. Once I started just being present, leading from love and everything, the ideas just came to me, bro. It came to me. Like, what could I say, bro? What can I say, bro? What can I say? And everything, and like I'm gonna be a testimony to. That's kind of my goal as well. Like, be a testimony to what I'm saying, cause yeah, like I do this in my daily life, and if I do great things, it's a great testimony. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Presence isn't non thought, presence is non resistance to any thought. It's letting however you're feeling is okay. If you were, as we're kids, when we're anxious, we're told to um, calm down, that it's okay. But us suppressing that anxiety is what makes it want to come back up, just like the volleyball in a pool wants to come back up to the top. It's the same way. But if you let it float, then it's floating. It could be there. It don't matter. It's chilling. It's chilling, and it no longer has an effect on you, on me.